Hi, my name is Caleb Kiffer. I'm the Maps, Atlases, and Color Playbook Specialist here at Swann Auction Galleries, and I'm very excited to be presenting to you a unique lot for our May 29th auction, a complete portfolio of Karl Bodmer and Prince Maximilian's travels in the interior of North America. In the years 1832 to 1834, Prince Maximilian and Karl Bodmer, they came to North America and traveled down the Ohio River, up the Missouri River, into Plains territory, where they encountered the native tribes, which have been living there for hundreds of years. There are 81 plates in total of the complete set. So there's 48 of these large format tableau plates. There's 33 smaller format vignette plates. There are aquatint engravings, which is just a fancy way of saying that the steel or copper plates were etched with an acid and a ground, not an engraving tool, and it just adds a subtle texture to the plates. So ordinarily, you find this set bound in an atlas format. What makes this set so special is the way that it is unbound, loose sheets in these portfolio covers. It makes it very interesting. You can go through the plates very easily, unobstructed. These are the 33 small format vignette plates, starting off with mostly the landscape that they encountered traveling through the eastern United States, from New York through Pennsylvania, down the Ohio, and eventually to the Missouri River. So these, when they were issued and published, would have been bound and sold directly to an initial buyer. How this set remains unbound, it's interesting to me, but it's very unique, something that I've never seen before. These plates are often sold individually, both through dealers and at auction. We have sold many individual Bodmer plates here at Swann, which come from broken atlases, books that have been cut apart and sold individually for the plates. This set, still surviving intact with all 81 plates, is pretty special. So starting out here, a forest scene on the Lehigh River in Pennsylvania, and it's very beautiful. I don't know if you can see this reflection. What that is a substance that's called gum arabic, and that's applied to the color as a fixative and also to add a little bit more depth. When you're looking at it, it sort of, brings it a little bit more to life. Prints like Currier and Ives, you see gum arabic. The hand coloring on these is particularly nice. This, spectacular beadwork, necklaces and earrings. And something I can show you too about these plates, each and every one have this blind stamp here. You want to see that stamp on each plate. That's an authentic stamp. That was put on at the time of publication. So we have Matatope, forebears, a Mandan chief. He was a great warrior, significant person in his tribe, and you can tell by his regalia, how he's dressed, the accoutrements that he has in this image, prepared for war. He wasn't going for war, he dressed like this for his sitting with Bodmer, but he's showing off some of his important battle wounds indicated here. The split turkey feather there is an arrow wound. You have 5 or 6 little wooden spikes there with a metal edge. Those indicate bullet wounds. This is a knife he stole from someone in battle. The handprint on his chest is prisoners that he captured, but it's cool to see decked out in his full official regalia and in his battle gear. So this is Parishka Rupa in the costume of the dog dancer, and somebody who I know and is an expert in Bodmer's work was fond of saying, for somebody who knows nothing about Bodmer's work, this is the one they want. For somebody who knows everything about Bodmer's work, this is the one they want. So it's generally regarded as the centerpiece of the portfolio, just the movement and the representation of this man in his dog society costume, the turkey quill headdress, his bow and arrow, the hoofed rattle there. So he's hard to beat. So we have volume 2 of Travels in the Interior of North America. Text in German, with 48 plates, 33 vignettes. Serious text and recording in German of Maximilian's journals that he kept throughout the voyage. Tucked into the rear of volume 2 here is an exceptional engraved folding map documenting the track of their journey. And they sailed across the Atlantic, landed in Boston, down through New York, the Lehigh Valley of Pennsylvania, down through the Ohio River into St. Louis, where they picked up the Missouri River and traveled upriver, where they began encountering various tribes of the native inhabitants, Sauk Foxes, Otos, Dakotas, Omaha, continuing up the Missouri River to Fort Clark, Fort Union, Fort McKenzie, the Mandan tribe here, which they spent a great amount of time with, and the majority of the illustrations focus on the Mandan. When the trip was over, they reversed track, came back down to Missouri, the Ohio, a northern route above New York, and departed in 1834. Great thing about the map here is this decorative vignette with the title in English and German and French, all kinds of American subjects. So he's really putting so much into this vignette image to decorate the map. What this represents is truly the greatest ethnographic record of these tribes of the American West as they were in the 1830s before the smallpox epidemic of 1837. The tribes of the Mandan and the Hidatsa and the Arikara were all but decimated. I mean, 90% of the population died of smallpox. Not only that, you add into other factors from the white man's influence, alcohol, gunpowder. In a few short years after Bodmer and Maximilian were here, a huge, huge amount of the culture which we see in these images was gone. Not just then, but now as well, the sort of, romantic vision of the American West. And that includes the people that lived there for a long, long time and how they lived, their customs, their manners, their dress, who they hung out with, their dogs, their animals, their war, their enemies, everything. Everything is represented here in these books.